Welcome back to Ugly Truck. Well, whether you like Dodge trucks, Ford trucks, Chevy trucks, Nissan, Toyota, whatever, it's all really the same stuff. That's what's great about working on cars. But everybody loves a Will It Run episode, and you are going to really love this one because this one threw us for a loop. Okay, it's time to reveal what's under the hood of our 68 Chevy C10. And shall I open the hood?
All right, it's the moment of truth.
Step up.
Big reveal.
Get your hand off the dial. Don't change the channel. There we go.
Ta-da.
This has got a Ford 302 V8 in it. So at some point, in Missouri we have inspections. So the last time this was on the road was in 1996 is what the sticker says. So sometime prior to that, somebody had the ability to put a Ford 302 engine in this thing. And it actually fits fairly well. It's sitting too high because it looks like they didn't have the ability to really mess with the motor mounts too much. But for the most part, it sits in there pretty good. If you weren't a Chevy buff, you might open up the hood and not even know that's a Ford motor in there. But I've never seen that done. I have seen it done recently with some, and they get a lot of really Coyote motors and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
But I've never seen this done with an older Chevy pickup. Somebody putting a Ford in. Because the 350, the small blocks were so, there were so many of them. It's like, why would somebody go through the trouble to do this? But this thing's been sitting. It was locked up 2 weeks ago. I filled it full of engine oil. Okay, my usual trick, waste oil. And yesterday, Emily cleaned this thing up and I put some tires on it and I got the engine to rock over a few degrees, okay? So we're gonna get this thing started today if it's possible to get it started. And it's gonna be kind of interesting because it's a Ford and Chevy combination. So
yeah, you have to know a little of both.
Yeah, and even if you're a Chevy lover or Ford lover or Dodge lover or whatever, it doesn't hurt you to learn something about both of them, right?
Yeah.
So that's what we're gonna do today. So we're gonna start by raising this thing up. I gotta drain all that oil out of it, and then we'll probably bring it down, get the spark plugs out of it, because it did start dripping oil out of the exhaust pipe, okay, the tailpipes. I usually try to keep my oil level below the exhaust manifolds because one of the valves is going to be open when it's at rest, so one of the exhaust valves. But in this case, I put a little too much oil in it, and we noticed the other day that it started dripping out of the tailpipe. So that's another cool thing because when it starts up, it's going to smoke like crazy. So we always love that. That's the payoff, the smoke.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know,
gotta make some smoke.
if this thing breathes okay and runs okay, we've got some like turbos laying around here somewhere, and we're talking about maybe if the motor's fairly good, maybe we'll pull it apart a little bit, increase the ring gap some, throw a turbo on it, maybe a different cam, you know,
Just make
something
it
for fun. This may be like a go fast truck.
That would be really cool.
And if the motor's junk, we'll pull this motor out and then we'll put a Dodge 318 in it or something.
There we go.
I don't know. Let's have some fun
Alrighty.
and get started on it. Okay?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Oh no. All right. Well, I went to pull the drain plug, and it didn't do anything at all. It just spun on the thread, so something doesn't have any threads in it.
Huh.
It's probably the oil pan, so we'll have to get a oversized plug for it.
Yeah.
That's a bummer. We already have a bad oil pan.
Yeah. We already have a parts list.
Yeah. Okay. So this has got a AOD transmission in it, an automatic overdrive, which is pretty cool. She looked it up, said 80 to 95.
93, I think.
93. Okay. So I thought when I looked at the engine, just because I'm old, I was like, oh, that looks like an 80s motor. Okay, so I'm probably right there. They just come in here, they cut the cross member for the transmission on this thing, because this thing had a 3-speed in it, so it had a cross member right here, which would have been a problem. And then they took just a piece of, I don't know what you call this, channel iron, and made themselves their own motor mount right there. And then apparently they went to the Jerry Nelson School of Exhaust, because the exhaust, it's just sitting right here. They went with the original pipes up here, and I don't know what they cut it off of, but just welded it to the original flanges, and did some turnouts here, and it's really not that bad. I can't wait to start it up. I told her it ain't gonna be quiet, so
no.
she was mad when the 65 was quiet.
Yeah.
So that's not gonna happen today. And then they made sure that they restricted this right there down to 1.5 inches, so you wouldn't get too much exhaust flow. And then it looks like it just used the regular drive shaft, which is amazing that it fit. So that was probably the thing. Like when they did it, they probably set it up to that drive shaft, and that's where they set it down basically, so they didn't have to mess with that. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Definitely some engineering went into this.
Yeah. I'm gonna put an oil filter on it now. I did, because of what we're doing, I almost bought a cheap oil filter, but I couldn't bring myself to do it.
Yeah.
A nice one was only $4 more. So I'm gonna put that on. You can take and blow the fire starting material off the bottom of this thing.
The kindling off the exhaust.
Yeah. So we'll get that done. We'll get the oil in there. Oh, the oil drain plug is stripped out. I'll fix that with a magnetic plug for now. So I've got a few of these sitting around here. It's magnetic, so as long as you got a steel oil pan or whatever, I use these in a pinch if I need to seal up an oil pan. They work really good. It's a super
it's like a super
magnet.
Super magnet.
With a seal on it, and like I cannot pull it off of that thing now. And so if I have something like that happen, as long as the surface on the pan is nice and flat, that thing will seal it up perfect. And they're cheap.
Yeah, I'll put a link in the description.
Yeah,
but they are a lifesaver sometimes. They'll save you a pinch.
Because otherwise I'd be running to the parts store right now trying to get an oversized plug for it or something, but having one of those, I can just do that for now. All right, so we've got everything done underneath. We hope, right?
We hope.
Yeah. So we got to get oil. We can put oil back in it. Then we got to get the spark plugs out of this thing, because all that oil that I poured in it goes up past the piston rings and it fills the cylinder, and that has got to come out of there before I can really rotate it over, because liquid does not compress. It'll hydrolock, and if you really force it, if you tried it with a starter, it could break a rod or bend a rod or whatever. We've seen that. We've got a 6-liter sitting right there with 2 broken connecting rods in it from hydrolocking.
Womp womp.
Yeah, it was a bummer.
Yeah.
And Ford 302s had 2 different firing orders that they could possibly have, so we'll make sure we'll use whatever they were using here, just so we know for certain, because whatever camshaft determines the firing order, and there were 2 different ones. So
we could just take the cam out and look at it.
Yeah, we could do that.
You just take it out and measure the cam.
Right. Yeah, that would take a while though.
Oh, okay.
Then we got to blow this off. Got to get all this junk off here. This got attacked by mice. They really got to the wiring really good. So I'm going to come in here and get rid of all the wiring going to everything. And all we need to power up this motor is power going to the ignition coil, and then I'll make the starter wires work so I can get rid of everything and not have to worry about something catching on fire when we hook it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what you like.
Yeah, no fire.
Not on fire.
No fire. Oh, I'm gonna squirt the carburetor down too with WD-40.
Ooh, yeah. You haven't even WD-40'd anything.
I know. Here it goes.
Here we go.
So we'll let the WD-40 go to work on it while we're messing with the other stuff. I think this is what would have been referred to as a 2150 Motorcraft carburetor. So I've got a kit over there for it. I went to a parts store this morning. I bought everything that we could possibly think of that we might possibly need. Don't take it out of the box, because if I don't need it, I'll return it, you know?
Yeah.
And everything, so far, everything that I bought to get this thing going, less than $150.
Yeah.
So if we can get this thing going for less than 150 bucks, that's pretty amazing. So
Yeah.
but I'll spend $30 on WD-40 by the time I'm done.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's just part of the job, though, you know?
Yeah. Shop materials.
Yeah.
Well, that goes to. Oh, the accelerator was done with tape. See that?
Let's see.
They just taped one rod to another rod with a
Wow.
electrical tape.
Wow.
Hey, they were already using Rotella on this thing.
All right.
Which side do you want to do?
I'll do this side.
Ooh, good. That's the hard side.
Oh, I
This
thought
is
it
the easy side because the spark plugs are pointed at you. So.
Ew.
Sucker.
Is that a Ford thing?
Yeah.
Ew.
Let's
Ford.
get a piece of paper and write down our firing order right now too.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Alright, so I don't even remember the firing order on these things, but it's on the manifold. We'll see what it is. 1 5 4 2 6 3 7 8 1 5 1 5 4. Is that what you said?
Yep.
4. Is after 4?
2.
2. Okay. Let me go look at the other firing order. 3 7 2 6 5 4 8. 1 3 7 2 6 5 4 8. So 1. And it rotates counterclockwise. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, this would be 5. So
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
Okay. 4.
Back there.
4. 2. 2. And 6.
D number 6.
6.
Cool. 3.
3. And 7.
7. And
8.
7 and 8.
Okay.
Cool.
Go. Alright, what are these going to look like?
I don't know.
No oil on this one, so this one's full of oil. This one's full of oil. We'll go with that one. Cool. I bought new plugs. Should we put new plugs in or should we roll with the old? I wanted to start it up with the old ones because if the motor's junk, I'd return those plugs and we didn't have to.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That one's got lots of oil. That one's got lots of oil. It's got Bosch plugs in it.
Mm-hmm. Well, these are burning oil.
Oh, lots of oil in that one. Cool.
Perfect.
Okay, so we're at the point, we've got the spark plugs out, the oil is drained, we're ready to dump some fresh oil in it and see if we can get this thing to turn over by hand. We like to do it by hand first just to make sure everything's turning okay since it was locked up. So we'll start with that and go from there.
Don't forget the boogers.
The boogers?
Yep. That's the Stp snot treatment.
Yes. I've said it a million times, but flat tappet camshafts love zinc. Stp Oil Treatment has zinc in it. So we're gonna dump in, we're gonna do a whole bottle of this.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. It's like boogers. It just looks like it would do something. You know?
Oh yeah. It seals everything. It makes not only does it make the cam not wear, it seals all the oil leaks and makes all the piston rings seat and makes the coolant run cooler.
Makes the heater work better.
Yeah.
Radio.
Stereo even comes in a little clearer.
Yeah.
I don't know how it does it, but it does.
Alright.
Okay, we ready?
I'm ready.
Alright, see if we can get it to go. Okay, so it moves that much. And then it seizes up. That much. What's that sound?
Oh, it's oil draining out under the pan.
Oh, from the pistons. Oh, okay.
Ooh, there we go.
A little further. A little further.
That one that didn't have oil in it, what if you squirt WD-40 down it?
I bet it has oil in it. I bet it's just was down at the bottom of the cylinder bore.
Oh, I see.
We'll give it some just in case.
So all of our spark plugs were nice and coated with oil except for one.
Number one. Yep.
Number one. So give it a little extra juice. Can't hurt anything.
Oh, it wants to go. Come on.
It's not making crazy noises.
Oh, you can almost hear the rust as it goes by.
It's like sandpaper.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, now we're getting some oil out of here. Hi, dum-dum. So that's the oil forcing out of the cylinders as the pistons move. So keep that in mind. It's a nice, good gravy.
Oh, the spark plug hole.
So keep in mind that it does make a mess. And it doesn't go straight down.
That's also why you do it by hand, because if you do it with a starter, the oil will not come out of the spark plug hole fast enough, and it'll still hydrolock. So you do it slowly, and get that oil out of there, and then once you do a few revolutions by hand, then we can.
Yeah. Turns over good now. Oh man.
Alright. There we go. Full revolutions.
Awesome.
I like that though, because I know the cylinder walls are coated with oil.
Yeah.
That way, and it's going to give this thing its best chance of starting up good and not doing any more damage when we fire it up. So
yeah. Yeah, number one is forcing a little bit of oil out of there, so it had something in it.
yeah, it was probably just down on the bottom of its bore. It hadn't filled up completely yet. So
Size of that starter.
is it big or little?
It's a big one.
Ooh.
Jeez.
Alright. It all feels real good. It all feels real even. Doesn't feel like any serious tight spots that I'm going by. So I'm gonna say that's good. I use non-flammable.
Yes.
Might pay attention to that, but
Yeah.
it is non-flammable.
Especially on your exhaust manifolds.
Yeah. We're gonna see if this thing will crank over using the starter. So we don't have any spark going because we don't have any power going to the ignition coil, which would be that wire right there. So no spark, which is what you want. Turning this thing over for a few revolutions. That'll flush a bunch of the oil out of it, rotating it that fast. And so that's the air portion of fuel, spark, and air. And
Cool.
we know it's got air then.
Yep.
And we hope the cylinders are good. And we'll throw the spark plugs back in it. And we'll see if it's got spark. That's the next step.
Sweet.
So we're getting close. So far, so good.
Yeah. Yeah, as rough and crusty as this whole truck was when we started, it's really turning out to be much better than I expected.
It's the worst wheel run we've ever done, though.
Yeah, everybody, I'm sure people are just screaming right now. If they're even still here at this point in the video. Maybe we've already lost all our subscribers.
Probably. Or they're just amazed.
Yeah.
They're fumbling to hit the subscribe button. Which we hope,
Yes.
right? Okay, so starter. In order to do that, we're gonna need a battery. I'm gonna try doing it with what they had here.
Okay.
Okay, so which would just be putting a battery in, and we'll use a remote starter and hit the solenoid with that and see if it works.
Okay.
Okay.
Sweet.
Did you guys ever get tired of working on these cars?
Wouldn't you rather play with a frisbee? A frisbee?
Oh, the battery don't fit.
Oh, no.
Oh,
There you go.
there it goes. Go. Go. Perfect.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Okay. So, I got two cables here. Which one do you think would go to the negative, huh?
The one that goes to the ground on the block.
Oh. And then this positive one, it would go to what?
The plus sign.
Oh, plus.
Yes.
All right, so what's going to happen when I touch this today?
Hopefully nothing too violent.
Yeah. I pretty much know because I cut every wire going anywhere.
Yeah.
So. I wouldn't normally do that, but I don't care about these posts. You know, if you wanted to see if it would spark or not, you could do an ohm meter from here to the positive. and let you know if anything is shorted out. Not with it connected to the battery, but
Yeah.
with it disconnected from the battery, you can see how much of a load is on it, and hopefully it would be 0 with everything shut off.
Yeah.
But I don't have anything at all going to the truck. We got all the wiring to the engine cut, so there'd be no reason for it to unless it's shorted somewhere else. So, let's see the sparks?
Huh. Were there sparks?
No,
Oh, okay.
no. There's literally
Nothing.
Yeah,
Nothing going on.
unless it was shorted. Okay, so Ford uses a solenoid up here next to the starter to start them. So you would go from your positive side of your battery to the starter side of the solenoid, which is this one. The other one goes to the ignition. Okay.
Okay.
If everything with the negative cable, if I got a good negative ground going to the engine block, and I got a good cable going to the starter solenoid and to the starter, right now it should crank over. Okay?
Sweet.
Are you ready?
All right.
I'm gonna stand over here so I don't get sprayed with oil.
Yeah.
So, you ready?
Yep. Ready. Oh, that's gonna make a good mess. Wow. Oh goodness.
Crank's good.
Yeah.
Of course, that's without spark plugs. So
Yeah.
don't sit there and just crank on them. Just crank on them a little bit. Let the starter cool down.
Yeah.
I say like no more than 4 or 5 seconds, and then give it twice as much time to cool off, and then go in little spurts. So otherwise, you'll just burn your starter up. I'm seeing about the same puff out of every cylinder.
Yeah.
So, gonna have to get the battery charger hooked up to her.
Okay.
Should we do it with this original? This is a piece of house wire that he used for coil wire. You know,
Yeah.
for some reason, coil wire must have went bad, so he's got that in there. But actually, I'm thinking we might try to do it just for fun.
Yeah. Why
Yeah,
not?
see if it'll run on that.
Yeah.
It ran once like that, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Okay.
And look at the oil pressure gauge, because it's got a mechanical gauge, so we can see if
Yeah.
it's building up oil pressure already.
Okay.
Tell me where you're looking at it.
Oh.
It's that little add-on gauge that's below the dash.
Yeah. Which one is it? Amps. What are you?
It'll be the only one that moves.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Ready?
Yep. That hit almost 30.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it comes up real good.
Alright, sweet.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I don't know. I hate, like, from right here forward.
Why?
I-
Much dangerous?
Yeah, the fan's a little sketchy. But I just hate the way they do their timing covers and their water pumps. It's just, it looks real messy.
Well, the
But-
timing cover is a nightmare because the bolts that run through the water pump, these two,
Yeah,
are
that's
so
true.
long that they corrode in those, and that is a issue with them. That
Yeah,
They've all got their bad ideas.
yeah.
They've all got good ideas, and
But from here back, I think that's a pretty cool looking motor. I like how tight the manifolds sit. It's real kind of square and chunky.
It's a great motor for swaps. That's
Yeah.
why a lot of people use it in like foreign car swaps and that, because it's so narrow.
Yeah.
And it's a really good engine, actually.
Yeah.
Ford, they put out great power, and they're real reliable.
They sound cool. The Broncos that we've had through here with 302s, they sound pretty sweet, you know?
Right.
This thing is going to sound real sweet.
All right, so let's put the spark plugs in. Put the spark plug wires back where they go. I know that's number one because it doesn't have a
Yeah.
boot at all.
1, 5.
Okay, we're at the point where we're gonna see if we got spark. In order to do that, since I cut all the wiring, this guy, whoever put the engine in this thing, he put a points and condenser style distributor in this from a 1973 or older truck to not have to have a electronic ignition. So in order to get that to work, all you got to do is supply power to the positive side of the coil. The negative side of the coil goes to the points and condensers, and the points are what grounds that system out and fires the coil. Okay, we're using the original house wire that this guy had. We just want to see if everything works fine first before we spend the money on a wire set for it. There's some boots that are missing too, but if it fires up and it runs, then I've got a box of wires over there, and then we'll start putting that in it and spending money on it. But I'd rather see how it was, and I'd also like to see. This is kind of the way it was when it came to rest, so it'd be kind of cool to start it up and see what it was like then.
Yeah, because it was parked a running truck.
Yeah. We hope.
Well, that's what the story was.
Yep.
Never know.
So in order to put power to the coil, which is the only thing that this truck needs electrically to make it run other than what we did with the starter, I'm going to put a jumper wire. I'm going to take and tape it up so I don't have to worry about it. It's the positive side of the system, so put some tape around it so I don't have to worry about it hitting something and arcing on something. The other end of it will just go to the positive side of the battery when I want to start the truck to fire up the coil. Okay?
Okay.
So
now what you're saying is we're not just combining a Ford and a Chevy. We're combining two different Fords and a Chevy.
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. A really old Ford, pre-73 Ford, and a 1980s something Ford. So
This thing is pretty Frankenstein together, you know?
yeah. Yep.
Oh, that should be his name.
Frankenstein.
Frankenstein.
And it does have zip ties holding the radiator in. So,
I know. It looks like we were here already.
Yeah.
So,
Maybe I put this in there in a past life.
maybe.
Okay. Give her some juice. I got the battery charging because we're going to have to crank it over a little bit.
Okay.
I'm going to touch it to the positive and see if there's any kind of inkling of a spark. But that don't mean anything. We'll see. Alright, so are we ready?
I'm ready. Ripley, you want to come here? Come here.
Are you nervous? Are you
Grab the
ready?
fire extinguisher.
Okay.
I'm gonna crank it over without spark. So let's try it with spark. Okay.
Okay.
I guess that it doesn't have spark. just because the Dodge got us so good, I'm gonna give it a little bit more gas and try it.
Yeah.
You know, because that's all the Dodge took. Okay. So, no spark. Alright, so let's see if my spark tester says the coil's fine. No spark. Okay. Okay, so we don't have any spark, so start diagnosing the ignition system on this thing. So we can see if we have power getting to our coil right there. We do. Okay.
Okay.
Now let's see. We'll get rid of the power going to the coil and change our plug over to the positive side on the battery. All right. And right there, if the contact points make contact, then this light will flash. So, and it doesn't. Okay.
So basically the contacts in the distributor are what's stopping our spark, right?
Yeah. Yep. Contact points. Let's see if they're opening when I turn it over.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's definitely open and closing. Okay.
Yep.
There we go.
All right.
Now we got some spark coming.
Cool.
What's that little squeaky noise?
The door on the fire.
I hear a strange squeak.
It's a funny squeaking sound.
You can hear a dump truck go to a nitroglycerin plant. Alright, so it didn't have spark because the contact points were dirty on it, so we cleaned those off. Put the distributor back in there. If you watch my spark tester, okay, I'll put positive to the coil, and the contacts are probably closed, so by doing that, and that's basically what points do, to open and close that connection. So it has spark. We know it has spark now, and we know it has air, right?
Yep.
And we're going to introduce fuel down the carburetor. We're going to squirt fuel down the carburetor, and it'll start then. So we pretty much know it's going to run, unless something was off with the timing of it. But since it was parked, hopefully parked running, hopefully it'll be okay, right?
Yep.
So.
Anything in there?
Oh.
Are you helping? Good job.
I was hoping it'd have more than that in it. Oh, no. Where's it coming out of?
Oh, goodness. Oh, the... Looks like heater hoses, maybe?
No.
Could be too easy.
It's coming out of freeze plug, probably.
No.
Why?
Well, that blows.
Yep. Oh. I mean, we can't start it.
Yeah. Okay. There were freeze plugs in the glove box.
Were they really?
Yes.
Oh.
And I said, this isn't a good sign.
Yeah.
So there you go. Foreshadowing.
Yep. Alright, well, it's got a bad freeze plug in it, but we can fix that. It won't stop us from running it for half a minute, maybe. So let's fire it up.
Here we go.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Ready?
Ready.
It's got some blow by.
Yeah. I was hoping for more smoke back there than up here.
Right.
That was close. That sounds sweet.
Oh, the sweet's pushing it.
The exhaust sounds better than the 65.
I'm worried that it's trying to move. Let's make sure it's in park.
Okay.
It keeps moving a little bit.
Okay. Is that a valve making that noise, or is that like an exhaust leak down there?
No, it's a valve. Let's see what the oil pressure's doing when it's running.
Oh, okay. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
For whatever this is. Maybe it will pump up and be okay. whole walnuts coming out of the exhaust.
All right, well, so it runs, freeze plug. I hope it's a freeze plug leaking. We need to raise it up and see what that is, see if we can fix that fairly quick. It's got a valve train noise in it, but we need to run the engine long enough to maybe get a lifter to pump up. And that might go away. So other than that, it seems pretty decent. As long as we can get this water leak taken care of.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
let's raise it up and see what the deal is with this freeze plug. Okay?
Okie dokie.
All right.
Cool.
Pretty certain it was coming down next to the starter?
Yeah.
Oh, I see
You see it?
it. Yeah. They tried to put a rubber plug in it right there. See that?
Oh.
So let's pull the starter out and see what it'll take to put a freeze plug in it.
Okay.
All right. Oh, there you go. See it right there?
Yeah.
It's just gonna fall out of there. Oh. Yeah, that would never work.
At least it came out easy.
Yeah. So, it's in a great spot too. It's easy to get to.
Yeah.
It had a rubber one in it, and the rubber wasn't. They're just temporary. They rot and eventually push out. So we'll replace it with a steel one. I take a piece of emery cloth and go in there and clean up the surface a little bit. Make sure it's nice and smooth. Okay.
Okay.
I like to use Loctite on them. So I'm gonna put a little layer of blue Loctite gel on them, or on it, hopefully.
Hopefully there's just one.
Yeah. Yes, just one. Okay. That'll help it seal, but it will also help it stay in there. Okay.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, I take a socket. It's a little smaller. And then you do your best to hammer it in straight. This is why you put new ones in when the engine's out,
Yeah.
so you don't have to do this.
Yeah.
Or you can use your freeze plug installer tool, which comes in handy sometimes. Okay.
Okay.
But no matter what, it's always super awkward
Yeah.
getting them in there. But that's it. Okay.
Cool.
So I gotta put the starter back in. We'll bring it back down. Our plug's leaking a little bit, but we don't care. How much stuff did you get from out of the exhaust?
A lot. Like there were like whole walnuts. I did notice also that the exhaust is pointed in the perfect angle to blow oil all over the tires.
Oh, perfect.
Okay, so Put some more water in it. And it comes pouring out again.
Oh.
Oh no. Behind the motor mount?
Yeah.
No.
It's just flopping around loose.
Loosey goosey?
Yep. Sometimes things just don't go the way you want them to.
No.
You know?
I don't like that.
Uh-uh. I really don't either. Oh, the other one's gonna be shot. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I think so. They're in there? Oh, no, they're not. This one's missing one. If you look straight up, you can see it's gone.
Oh, I see. Right in between there next to the pan.
Yeah.
Well, now what?
All right. To answer the question, will it run? Yes, it will run. We've got it running, but we pour water in it, and water comes out of it faster than we can pour it in. Amazingly, we're going to have to get a bigger garden hose or something to keep this thing cool. But that's one of the downfalls of doing something like this. You kind of don't know what you're getting into, and you really don't know what you're getting into when you're working on Frankenstein. Okay?
Yeah.
So we put one freeze plug in, and then we found another one that's bad. So basically, all the freeze plugs need done. That's a cheap fix. We will do that, and then we'll show that to you when we bring it to life again with the fuel system going to it. Here, we live in Missouri, so you don't really have really harsh winters here. But if you live further up north, that's a huge problem when you're looking at something that you're going to try to bring back to life. So you got to expect those problems and not let it discourage you, because we've spent less than $50 on this thing today, and we had a great time doing it.
It is something that can be fixed. If you watched our videos about the 78 Blazer, it had a bent valve, and it was a bummer, but we took it apart and we fixed it, and it
was a ton of fun.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I've never torn a head down like that, and to be able to see how that goes together, that was a great learning experience for me. So, and this has been an even better learning experience because I learned about Chevys, I learned about newer Fords, I learned about older Fords, and it was just to see how all of this went together was really cool. As crazy as it looks, the person that put it together was not a moron. It took a lot of thought, and it took a lot of figuring things out to make this work, and it worked. Yeah. So this truck was driven like this. This isn't a half-done project that was abandoned. This is what this truck was. So I'm even more excited about this truck now that we know it did fire up and run. Hopefully the valve train noise goes away. We'll see. But we've got some big plans for this truck. I know you'll be seeing it again soon. And
coming up on June 17th, her birthday.
It's my birthday.
We are going to do our first live show.
Yep.
And on that show, we had a lot of great guesses on this truck of what was underneath the hood. Yeah. We're going to take all the guesses and we'll put it in a hat and pull a winner out of it, okay? And whoever the winner is, we'll send you a $25 gift card to your parts store of your choice, and we'll give you one of our shirts if you like one of them. So please subscribe. We're still trying to reach 1 million, but hit the like button, whether or not you liked it or not. But we got a lot of will they runs coming up. I hope they go a little smoother than this one, but yeah, they will. They usually do. Yeah. So this one's a weird one.
This was a weird one.
But thank you. We really appreciate you watching our stuff, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks.
We'll see you.
It took many 12 packs.
There were a lot of 12 packs involved.
I'm sure of it. Well, we know from cleaning the back of the truck out that it took many, many 12 packs.
Yeah, there was some Bush, Olympia.
Olympia. When you're digging through the back of your refrigerator for Olympia.
When you hit the Olympia, things are not going good.
Right. So.